I gotta go find my water.
Got it right here, bud.
Yeah, I know I've got one too. Of course, I just went and hit the live button, but I shouldn't probably leave everybody. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Gramps Live here on a Friday night. This is going to be also another episode for the Everything Kayak Fishing podcast. Tonight, we're joined by Michael Ridenour, Ridenour, Ridenour. You make up 50 different ways how you want to say his name, but hey, I literally asked him like 20 times when we first got together earlier this year, how the hell am I saying your name?
You got it
But
down
dude,
now.
yeah, now we got it down. But I had to get you on. The funny thing is, for those who don't know, Mike and I were down at Caddo together. Well, we were at Gunnersville together, and then at Caddo together, and went to Bistino together. And on Bistino, we were going to take a day during the practice. I mic'd him all up. We did like a full, like hour long interview on the water. This is going to be my first episode of On the Water with, and I had just got these microphones, and then I didn't have them set up right and didn't capture a damn thing. So I said, well, it was fun telling your story. We're just going to have to do a live stream and you can tell us all again.
That's right.
But man, since then, so I guess I'll back up and we'll let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit how you got into kayak bass fishing. For those who don't know, perfect, we'll get into talking about Freedom Squad and Knucklehead and Bassmaster and all that stuff. But before that, I'll let Mike give you a little bit of his history and then how he got into bass fishing in a kayak, and then we'll pick it up from there on how we actually hooked up and met and what we've been doing this past year since. So, Mike,
Yeah.
kind of fill everybody in on yourself.
All right. As you said, Michael Ridenour, from West Virginia. I live in a little town, Fairmont, just outside of Morgantown, West Virginia. Um, I am a business owner and entrepreneur for the oil and gas industry. I've been in oil and gas for 20 years, uh, and decided to jump into something to give me a little more freedom, a little more time to chase these fish all over the country. I got into tournament fishing locally, on the local state scene with some local West Virginia kayak anglers, Southern West Virginia kayak anglers, and Appalachian kayak anglers out of Maryland. Uh, 4.5 years ago, 4 years ago, not quite 4.5 years ago, I kind of jumped into KBF Challenge Series middle of the year, like July, August, just to try it out. And it all really come about. I have a well-known family member that fishes nationally in kayak, Matt Ball, and Matt lives in Ohio, a couple hours from me, but his mom and dad and brothers still go to church with me, and our families all grew up with us being cousins. We know all of our second cousins, third cousins, even
Yep.
beyond that very well. We're a very tight family and had big family reunions every year and got together. But I followed Matt for a lot of years, and it was kind of a local joke between his brother and I and his dad and I at church. Like, if Matt's national champion, surely if Matt can do it, I can do it. Uh,
Easy peasy.
Kind of a running joke, but I reached out to Matt, and he kind of gave me some directions just to get started, and warned me it was a little more difficult than I thought it would be. Everybody is the best fisherman they know
Mm-hmm.
on their home water until they really jump into a tournament scene. I got humbled pretty quickly, uh, very quickly. I wasn't nowhere nearly as good as I thought it was. I could catch numbers, uh, but finding big bass, when you think on the challenge series, I got a whole month to put up 100 inches, 5 20-inch fish. That's so doable. Well, it's not so doable in West Virginia. Um, but looking at the numbers at that time and the people competing, Jody Queen and Blaine Stowers and Kyle Struther and Mark Edwards and some real hammers. So I thought, a month, surely. I got humbled pretty quick, but I did go to the KBF Nationals That was the only time I ever left the state for any tournament. Um, for Kentucky Lake, and actually the first ever event I left West Virginia for was Caddo and Bistanu.
Kentucky
Uh,
Lake, baby.
so this year I really went back in hopes of redemption. I fished there 6 days, pre-fishing and 2 days of the tournament before I didn't make it to day three. I only caught two fish all week.
Yeah.
Uh, it whooped me. We talked about it this year. I definitely feel like uh, I made a comeback on it this year and caught lots and lots of fish. So it was good. It was good. I've learned a lot. It's been an absolute epic ride, and the people that I've met. In the beginning, I thought it was all about the fish.
Yep.
I wanted to do this to prove that I could fish, I guess, and I thought it was about the fish. But somewhere along the way, uh, you learn pretty quickly it's not about the fish. It's about the people. It's about the lifestyle, the travel, the people that you meet, the people that you touch that you don't really realize you touch,
Yep.
uh, and the amount of people that come up to you and that follow along in this, and it's it's just very it's humbling, but it's uplifting.
Yes.
Um, with us, and I'm sure we'll get into it later in the podcast. I'm a veteran. I'm a United States Marine, and I try to reach out and do anything I can to help veterans, and so I actively participate in the Catch 22 series with Chad and the KBF, and then I'd heard about the Knucklehead and some other things, and that's really what. Even though I'd met you a few other times at some KBF events, it wasn't until really at the Susquehanna for Bassmaster
Yeah.
that you started informing me about Knucklehead and meeting the people. That's probably one of the greatest formats that I've ever fished. People really need to. I hope they put a lot of emphasis on that series, and I'm going to do my best to educate people that's never fished that style uh, event to do the team and just how it all works, how it all comes together, the camaraderie that brings.
Yeah.
I think is a lot of what a lot of anglers, even veteran anglers in the sport, are looking for. And I fell in love with that series, but kind of getting ahead of myself. Back to um, did some local stage stuff, traveled outside of that. Um, I work very closely with Sportsman's Emporium. They're my local pro shop. They're a native, bona fide new canoe dealer, as well as a bow shop. So those guys stood behind me day one, helped me get out on the water, get started in this. I did fish out of a little feel free lure when I very first started before I knew anything about what would be entailed in the water that I'd be going on to.
Yep.
Um, but I got humbled. I lost. I did very badly my first 2.5 years. I did very badly on the national scene. I did fair in the state on the challenge series because I was determined that I wasn't going to let the fish beat me. I would get off of work. I could work 12 hours, and if there was daylight left, or even if it was dark, I would hit the lake and try to put one fish on the board, and just really spend time on the water learning. Um, had an opportunity to open my own business, and which would give me some freedom to travel and really give this thing 100%. I don't like doing anything halfway.
Yep.
So after talking it over with my wife and family and my partner now, we made the leap and haven't looked back. And now I spend, I don't even want to say how many days a year on the water because people say, well, you really don't work if you spend that much time on the water. I spend a lot of time on the water, but it has helped me grow. And the amount of growth this year kind of culminated to this is my first national trail year. I did the Bassmaster event. Um, did fair. I didn't finish where I wanted to, but I was in uh, ninth for a while and then dropped to 11th for a while. And I ended up finishing out when the dust settled at the end of the year in 19th. But first trail series year. I'm
Hey,
happy.
listen, top 20 in Bassmaster Angler of the Year. Okay.
Yeah, 6 this year for the challenge series, making the 10 for the KBF. That was something I've always dreamed of doing. And I told you even when we did Knucklehead that my dream was just one day to make the 10, and I did not think it would be this year.
Yeah.
Stars aligned and fished my butt off, and it was a grind and just kept my head down, and a lot of prayers were answered, and just it was an awesome year. I couldn't ask for a better year. If this year goes half as well as last year,
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
still be a success. Uh, but the friends made this year, um, probably more so than any other year, and maybe that's because I was on a national event, and I'm starting. It doesn't take very long to start to get known in this industry. If you stick
Yeah.
around long enough, you start to see the same faces, and a lot of faces come and go, but you start to see some regulars, and you have enough conversations, you start to become friends, or at least well-known acquaintances with those
Yeah.
people. And a lot of those I call friends, though, like you and Nick and others, John Rapp, and a lot of guys I talk to outside of the tournament. We keep in touch and we call once in a while, just touch base with each other, and it's all because of bass fishing. So um, the friends and the times I've had and the memories made are hopefully they're just getting started.
Yeah.
I intend to do this for many more years. I'm completely addicted. My wife probably wishes it wasn't as bad as it was, but
The
and my bank
beautiful
account
thing
too.
about your wife is she also likes to fish from a kayak,
She
loves
does.
kicking your butt every now
Yeah,
and then. So,
she lets me. She lets me do any of this and supports me. It's not a let. She supports me in chasing
yeah.
my dreams, and I couldn't be more blessed to have her. So it's been fun. But yeah, she might be getting in on some challenge series and stuff on the she wants to maybe do some stuff to represent some of the women out there, and
There you
you
go.
gotta watch. I mean, she puts it on me sometimes.
Oh,
So
yeah. She would love the catch 22 because it's just fishing all year long. Upload your,
yeah,
22 fish, however you can do. And, that's one of the ways I love getting people charity. It's, it's been Heroes on the Water that we've been supporting. So, and for a cause that's near and dear to every veteran family, and first responders, and all of our homeland heroes and the patriots out there who support everybody as well. So that's one thing. No matter what I do, whenever I'm doing catch 22 fish ops, that will always be something that I'm pushing, promoting, because if I can only fish in one anything all year, I would choose catch 22 over anything else if I was only allowed to do one, just because that's the cause I believe in the most. So
right.
it's so fun. But you can use it to smack talk your buddies either in your own state or other states, or hey dude, I came to your state and I put up a smacking on them. And then I told Chad I told him I want to see this year, I want to see a 22 catch 22 event that's nationwide from the kayak. Now they've got one that's like, any 22, or so any
Right.
kind of fish, or if somebody's fishing from a boat. But I was like, I want one national catch 22 from a kayak only in public waters. So then when we travel to these different places, then that can add to that fish of the biggest pool. Now,
That's a great idea. I would love to
it'd be
see that.
hard to beat Marty.
Marty puts up insane numbers every year.
It would
Yeah.
be hard to beat
It's
Marty, but I
ridiculous.
think that one would be a fun one for the guys like you and him and Christine who travel all over the country and fish, like all the events. It would be cool to see the best 22 fish from like around the country. So I'm gonna work
It
on
would
getting
be
that one
some
added in.
serious numbers involved. Yeah.
Oh man. But that would be really cool. But it's like for this year, I already know that I'm not going to be able to fish, because Steve-O texted me the other day and he's like, "You gonna fish all the events this year?" It's like, brother, I only get so many days of leave. And so I got to pick and choose what I can do. I said, after I retire, you're going to get sick of seeing my face. Trust me. But I said, I'm going to try to do at least one Bassmaster, which will be the one that's not been announced. That's in
Yeah,
April. But that
I'll
will
be
be
there.
that will be, I know we will be there.
I'm excited for that one.
Oh, brother. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the St. Cloud, Minnesota one for the Kayak Adventure Series because giant smallies. And then the KBF-NC. And then, of course, I got to go to the Bassmaster Classic because Nick's building my trailer for the Classic. So those are my 4 on the schedule events this year. If I can squeeze anything else in, so be it. If not, then I'll fish, like more local derbs because I want to keep promoting my local club here as well. And, having fun with some of those as well. But let's roll back to last year a little bit. We ran into each other at Susquehanna. And, I talked to you a little bit about the Knucklehead. And that for me was like a dream trip because I'd never been there. And, of course, coming home, I know a whole lot more now than I did when I was there. And, obviously wished I could have done better, but I didn't finish last, which was my goal. But,
That's a
it was
slugfest
still
every
a fun
time.
trip.
There's so many big fish and so many people have fished that because that's just a place that when they have it, it draws people
Yeah.
from all over the country because of the amazing fishery that it is. And yeah, it's tough. It doesn't matter if you live there. It's tough to do well there just because there's so many hammers that come from all over the country that have fished that many, many times
Yeah.
and kind of know her secrets. And yeah, we're going to get you turned on to a few of those though.
You know me, bro. I'm in the quest for 20. That's my goal this coming year since I didn't make it this year. I tied my PB a couple of times and I caught my PB at Susquehanna as far as weight goes because that 4.2 pounder at 19 and a half inches was bigger than the 19 and a half that I caught here in Indiana in basically a year ago this week, I think it was, or not too far off, but it was a much heavier fish. But yeah, I'm still on that quest for a 20, so I know we're going to be working.
It's going to
And
be the Quest 22 because you can get that done there.
there we go. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, yeah, because Bass will go back there. If they don't go this year, they'll go back, in the future because that's such a hot spot. But
Well, and I'm hoping Native, Big Bass, they have power hour there almost every year with a huge turnout. So that may be an excuse to get us up
and I've
there.
never fished one of those before. So if there was an excuse to go to Susky and we get a spot and stay there, yeah, I could see myself doing that.
Yeah, that might work out. We'll see how that aligns once they drop that schedule.
Yep, sounds
And I'm going
good.
to do most of the Bassmaster. I was dead set I'm going to do them all until the preliminary that I've seen anyway on the schedule is
the one way out west.
Yeah, that first one's out of reach for me. I'm going to draw an imaginary line somewhere about mid Texas north, I guess, and it's got to be close to that line or back this way.
But based on their new head sponsor, it makes sense they do something closer to California.
No, it definitely does.
So for those of you who don't know, or if you follow Bassmaster, the new title sponsorship of the Kayak Bassmaster Series is Newport Motors, which, me, Jeremy, several of us are fans of Newports because we've both got the NK300s. I'm actually starting out rigging my XTR with the XI3 since we're limited to one motor still. But that's gonna be my scoping boat. But the good old PWR 129 is going to be my river boat for the Susky and other big waters with that NK300 on it. So,
well, you're gonna have to chase them down in that torpedo-powered new canoe.
Oh yeah, dude. So, yeah, we're going to talk about what you've been up to here, but let's back up and we went back and when we fished together at the Susky, I did some recruiting. I was like, hey, bro, I got a really good team. I said, I need another hammer. I need somebody who wants to come to Gunnersville and catch some fish. And I was like, if you can put up 100 inches in the last month of the Knucklehead Bass Fishing Series, I said, you got a pretty good shot at making the team. And you were like, dude, it's West Virginia. I mean, we got some, but I mean, I don't know if it's going to be like that. But you actually cranked it up and took that final slot. And
Yeah,
we had a
yeah, with not a lot of time. He didn't. I think we met in July, and August
yeah.
was the one.
You only had the 1 month left, yeah. So it
I
was
was
pretty
glad I
good.
did though. It was a little bit of a grind. I wanted that pretty bad just to. I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
That is an awesome format.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, for those of you who weren't or couldn't be there, the cool thing was the house that I normally get at Gunnersville. We've always got, I had my crew this year, and then the Freedom Squad team that was led by Jeremy and then Matt. We had like basically 8 out of the 210 teams staying in the one house. We were crashed out all over the place, but it made it nice because you got a whole house full of people, and Emily sleeping in her camper in the driveway with her puppy, and then Mike was like a mile down the road. Um, but it's cool because we love events like that, because that is, and if I don't make the KBF NC every year, I know that always Knucklehead will be like a family reunion kind of thing. So that's
Well,
the
we've
cool
got
thing about
Chasing
those events.
Jay and Fluke Master. I mean, we can't let them off as easy as we did this year.
Yeah.
So we've got to go back for a little redemption there. I can't let them have it that easy.
Yeah. Well, I was glad, um, I still want to see a veteran win that thing. Gene got close, and then of course Eric, EJ was the man on fire up the creek, and his team full of. And it was funny because it seemed like there was very few people fishing for his stuff, but the ones who were were all like top notch dudes who
Yeah.
knew who EJ was. So that was kind of funny, but the event itself was really fun. I mean, it's one of those things you can wish, hope, and pray, but it's just a matter of who finds those fish on those couple of days. And but it was still a great event. I mean, I can't
It really
complain. I
was.
mean, I won practice. You know,
Oh yeah. Practice went absolutely awesome for all of us. I think we had high hopes of knocking it out, and a little bit of a weather change. They got a little bit tight lipped, but it didn't seem to affect EJ's fish too much. But
yep, yeah. EJ and Gene were duking it
but
out,
they
but
stayed there because I fished the same spot as I fished the following week. I did the championship and the Invitational there, same spot,
yep,
same ramp, and they were turned back on. So
yep. Just one of those days, but still, the event itself was great. The people was great, and the fishing was still, good regardless. I mean, wherever you finished, we still finished in the upper half, which hey is awesome.
yeah,
I'd rather be in the upper half than the lower any day. But I mean, it was a good time. For me, going down there catching my PB after catching a PB up here at home like a month before was wild on a frog. Who would have thought? I'm gonna have fun editing those videos when I get caught up on editing. But yeah, it's gonna be a wild trip too. But I think one of those things, and if you were there, like our final breakfast before we all broke and left was probably one of the best few hours of my whole year this year.
yes,
Just
second that.
chilling, talking with everybody. I mean, it was, breaking bread with a bunch of great people. And it was a fun event too. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that breakfast really brought a lot of us together. It was a meeting of strangers of sorts, and yeah, we all walked away. I dropped you.
It's all good.
We all walked away, I think, a little closer, a little smarter, and a little more sympathetic, I guess, to the situations around us
Yeah.
and the need. And um, yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
That
it
breakfast
was
was
awesome.
definitely a highlight of my year as well.
And then it lucked out that I got some free time to get away and sneak away to go down to Texas and Louisiana because listening to all you guys talking and it's just like, oh, but I mean, and that too, again, I mean, for me, it's like I look back at last year. I love seeing who won what, but to go to the Susquehanna for the first time, to go to, Caddo Bistino for the first time. I mean, that was just I think I lost a 6 or 7 pounder on the frog that first day. When I go back and watch that video, it just makes me cry because when I zoom in on it and see it coming out of the water, that was probably a 22 or 23-inch fish.
Those
But
places are
that's
absolutely epic. They really
yeah,
are for big fish.
yeah. But I mean, I was happy to catch a 20 while I was down there, so who knows? It was just
You say
crazy.
that, but you've been putting the smack down on some big fish this year.
I've done a pretty decent, here and there. I mean, there was, like I said, this was the first year that I actually put my mind to it and went and fished a tournament instead of try to film a tournament locally, and I had a top 5 in one of the derbs before that, and then actually won
And
one of our local
that
derbs.
was
That was pretty
borderline
cool.
Century Club, right?
Oh yeah, 92 and a half, I think it was. But
Yeah,
I've
that's a
never
good day.
I've never done that in a month, let alone let alone have a smackdown like that, especially on a lake that seems like it's always had my number, but it all just, it all just came together that day. So I actually, used the old scope and poking and at the end of the derb and culled out a 13 with an 18 and a quarter, I think it was. And I'm like, I got
Well,
this.
that's
This
because
is me.
everybody knows that scoping's cheating,
Oh,
JT.
hell yeah. I was all about it. Wait till I get this boat rigged up.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got it. I've had it.
Yep. So catching everybody up too, you had some we talked about Newport supporting or sponsoring Bassmaster, which we love.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome Fly Fox back to the members only. Uh yeah, I don't know who knows. YouTube must have hated you there for a minute, but welcome back, Sly Fox. You picked up a new sponsor, and I know we were talking earlier this year that you said you were going to change, boats and all that too. I expected you to kind of see you in what something that I was rolling around in,
I
but
was, I was so leaning forward toward the Bonafides. Truthfully, I
yeah,
really was. I've been in natives for several years. Love those boats, but due to some circumstances, I just felt it was time to a change. I was really leaning toward that, and then I met Nick
yep.
and seen that white. Uh,
I should have known when I got that picture.
and I'm a sucker for white. Everything my wife's vehicle's white. All my vehicles are white. Like I was like, man, that would look good being pulled behind that truck. Uh, but realistically, that was just kind of part of it that really kind of got me to open my eyes and give New Canoe a real look. And uh, my pro shop owner's a New Canoe guy, and he's been giving me a hard time about my natives for a while, even though he sold it to me. Uh, to really look at New Canoe, and after talking with some people that use them that's on the team, and some friends of mine that are not on the team that fish out a New Canoe, going down demo and boat.
So
After talking
you got on the
with
water and
Blake and
ran it
those
around
guys,
and
yeah, uh, I'm excited. It's a totally different platform than what I normally am used to
oh yeah.
fishing of, but I think it's going to be a blast. I think it fits my style of fishing well, and this one will be also the first boat that I've ever had a bow mount with spot lock on it.
I was
Uh,
going to ask you, were you going to stay with the rear mount with that
uh,
little single
well,
control, or are you
until
going to
they
go bow
allow
mount?
both, I'm going to take both,
Yep.
and depending on what that body of water is or
Yep.
what I'm fishing, that will dictate what motor I put on. But I'm excited to have some spot lock. I actually ordered that today,
Okay.
and
What'd you get?
uh, I actually got a great deal on one of the last XI3s.
See, here I thought if you're going bow mount, Mr. Man, Mr. Technology, Mr. Gotta have the best, I figured I would see like a Kraken, or I would
Listen,
see
so I went and
something
looked at
that's
them.
got a transducer
Listen,
in
do you
that
know how
front.
much weight it takes to push
Yeah,
that thing back down? I thought about it and I was like, even if I can push it down on the front of my boat, I don't
yeah,
think my boat's gonna like that.
yeah. Because
It
those
takes a
things are
lot of
what, like
force.
70 pounds or something, even if you chop them.
Yeah, I mean, well, it wasn't the weight of that as much as so that has a spring loaded lift assist on it.
Right.
That lift assist is great to help with that heavier motor, but when you're trying to stow that thing back
Yep.
on a bass boat where you got a solid platform, it may not be bad. But on a kayak, I felt like
Yeah.
I'd be asking to
I could see
swim.
like
But
a
trust me, I
Kraken.
wanted it.
Yeah. I could see
110
like a
pound thrust.
Kraken. I could see like a Kraken or that power pole move that's got the small head and it
And I
doesn't
looked
have
at that
its,
too, 48 volt.
yeah,
I thought,
110,
yeah, I
110
thought
thrust.
that that was the route I was going to go to, but I said, let me just try this. I don't even know if I'm going to like bow mount or not.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to miss the speed of my Torquedo, but I still have it.
You know, the
Um,
funny thing is, though, if you go back and look at who's won what on lakes for the most part. Now, I like a bow mount on the river. I won't lie. I mean, I wouldn't want to go through the rocks with the bow mount on the front. You know, that's why I'm keeping two separate boats. But if I'm on a lake, you know, how many guys in the autopilot have won? Gene still
yeah,
runs his XI3 up front. You
so
know,
many times I've wished I've had it. And really, when we were at the Lake Bistanu ramp, I don't know if you remember, we were heading back toward the ramp. There was a couple gentlemen that had bow mounts and had a lift way up out, just
yep,
cavitating the top of the water. They were skimming back through where we could not go.
yeah. I
And
mean, and they
I
were,
was envious. I'm not
yeah,
going to lie. I was like, I want to be over there where they are. And I tried to get there, and
yep,
that wasn't happening without some waders and some serious mud.
hell yeah. But you're right. It was funny watching them with that half of the motor out of the water, and they had to be in inches over that mud, and they were just
Yeah, yeah,
standing
it
up.
was
I was like, man,
amazing.
if he hits a stump, he's going swimming. You know,
But how many pockets were back in there that nobody could access? That the fish had to be land or locked back in.
that's a good
Probably
point.
big, deep pockets in there
Yeah, that's
that
a good
those
point,
guys could
dude.
get
You're
to
right.
that none of us could ever touch.
Yeah, you talk about. I mean, it's funny. We laugh. We can get places where boats can't, but then when kayaks can get places where other kayaks can't, just based on
Right.
what motor they had on that day.
Well, and in Gunnersville, when I went back to this Lily's, I
Yeah.
mean, I was sure that not many people had been back in there for a while.
Yep.
But then to get to Bistanu and see where those guys were going, I was like, okay, I've got to give this bow mount a shot.
Yeah, they're putting those chopper blades on them and just going to town too. So
Well, make no mistake, if I like it and it works well, uh, Power Pole Move will be the motor that I settle with. I
gotcha.
went and looked at them, and that's that's the one I want. I think.
Yeah, Bass Geek's in here talking. They were talking a little bit about the scoping and all that too, but he's the same way I am. It's like might not catch him with the scope a lot, but I learn more about the fish and where they are and how they really move, and that is huge. You know, I have I've probably not caught a lot of the fish that I've seen, but I know that they're there. And for me, the scope is so much more effective when you're really trying to identify what is that down in the water. Is that a brush pile? Is it a tire that some, you know, it really makes a difference. And for me, just knowing stuff is there when I'm ledge fishing, I sit back offshore and I can look at the whole bank and you know like oh they're over here and I just throw it up and then drag it down from shallow to deep. You know, if I know they're sitting right above, you know, the drop off or right, you know, at the bottom of where it kind of ends in the you know the deeper end, you can see where they're at and it just makes a huge difference. And I'm going to get better and better with them
Essentially,
each
it's the
year, I
name of
know
the
that.
game. I don't use it as much as individual targeting a fish either. I guess But it's nice to be able to sit in an area and
Yeah.
as those fish move, to follow them, to kind of see their tendencies. Uh, yeah, I've learned more about the fish just watching that screen than I ever did probably actually fishing for those fish or fishing for them and really not being successful at catching them, but watching their mannerisms.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, "Oh, you've got live scope, it's cheating." You throw a lure there and they just bite it. No, I
Yeah.
wish it was that easy. Uh,
Yeah. Because I know, like Wendell and them were talking. They were down at Knucklehead where they were. They were pouring through bass, just schools of them, throwing jerk baits and following schools around and just picking off what they could find. So it's
that
it's
is
going to
my
be
favorite
cool
way
the
to
longer
go.
that we have it and get better with it, and the more we learn about fish. Because realistically, a lot of the myths from what that we grew up with, what we thought we knew, bass are a fickle, picky
Yes.
species, but we never get tired of chasing them.
No. And I think that's the allure of it. They change all the time. And it's not like, "Oh, okay, I know how to catch bass. I'm just gonna go out here and catch all these fish." They all are like people. They all have their own personalities, and it's crazy to try to put those puzzles together from day to day and to try to guess what kind of mood they're gonna be in this day. I love it. I do. I absolutely love it.
It's so funny. I just got a text from Chad. I guess somebody in one of his comments says this technology will destroy the fishing stock. And he said, no, it won't. This is a silly narrative that is perpetuated by people that have an agenda. This technology has been around for almost a decade and has had zero impact on fish and fisheries, zero instances and zero cases in zero places. What it may do is actually deter ignorant people from fishing because they see these misinformed narratives out there. So it may actually reduce fishing pressure, impact, and mortality, therefore, even benefit fishing stock. So there it is
Yeah,
from the man
and it's like
himself.
anything else. There's so many controversial things out there that if somebody wants to argue the point, they will.
Oh, yeah,
I
100%.
think a lot of people do it more as clickbait just for views on social media because it is a hot topic. But at the end of the day, is it really different from side scan? Is it really different from
Yep.
360? Is it really different from? I mean,
What kills me is people who don't really like, if they haven't been fishing for like 40 years, like some of us have, they don't realize guys like KVD, when he came on the scene as a kid in his 20s, that's when side scan came out. And he was the Hamner, the McKinney of those days.
right?
He understood while everybody else was using flashers and straight down. He understood what he was seeing on the side scan and just smashed them. And today the technology's changed
Yeah,
and there's something new, but the younger guys that are, and it's funny, oh, we want to get youth involved in sports until the youth start beating your ass.
right.
I
It-
absolutely
It's a
love. I
vicious
was glad
cycle.
to see Major League Fishing roll back their rules. I want to see. I mean, I get it. Okay, if you wanted, you don't want to have to have 7 transducers and blah 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 blah
No, I
blah.
think there should be limits.
Yeah,
I do
you
agree
can
with
do that.
Bassmaster and MLF on limiting the amount of electronics.
Yeah, I mean, I
Do
can
I
see
think they
that.
should have it? Absolutely. It's another tool.
Yeah,
I
because
think it should be
the
banned
guys that are
altogether.
sponsored by Garmin that have them running off the back of your boat using it as side scan, maybe a little overboard. Maybe have it available for the back seater. If you want to stick one on a pole and then hang it off of the back by the motor, so the guy
When
in the
you have
crew
more
angler.
sonar than a submarine, it starts to be an issue.
Yeah,
But I mean, other than that, I'm all for it. I don't think it's going anywhere.
yep.
Realistically, I don't. I think that it's
Now, Sly Fox says he doesn't see fish on side screen. Once you get it dialed in and you see those little specks of rice, follow my buddy Nate Goodwin. Find him on Facebook and watch his Facebook posts. He's got pride. Now, he just got live scope this last couple of months, but he's prided himself this last 2 years on showing just how effective side scan is, and people weren't taking advantage of it when they had it because now of but he could see the fish and he would crankbait and catch him.
I
There
see
she is.
fish
What's up, lady?
side scan, depending on the depth. Now there is a range. I feel like if I start looking more than that 50, 60 feet,
Yep.
at that point I'm really not looking for fish. They start to
Exactly.
become so small. Then I'm looking for fish habitat, structure,
Yep.
laydowns, whatever that may be for
You're
that
doing a
body of water.
drive-by looking
Grass
for something to turn
edges,
around and then come back and put the scope on. Yeah.
yeah, grass edges, wherever they may be, and I'm fishing that.
Yep.
But if you're not seeing fish, play with your settings, dial it in. Maybe look a little closer. Maybe you're looking out too far. Don't try to see a bass looking out at 100 feet, 110 feet, 100. It's they're just a mere pixel
Yep.
at that distance. So,
Yeah, because
um,
often I won't even go out past 30 feet. I want it, I want it as close as I am.
yeah,
But
I
now
try
if
to look at
I'm
like 40 feet max if I'm looking for fish.
yeah, if I'm
I can
scouting,
see
I
them
might go out
a
to
little
60
bigger, but
because I'm looking for structured or mark waypoints. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
yeah, so that would definitely be something for him to check out, and I think he'll start to see. I hear a lot of people say that I don't see fish on side scan. Well, how far are you looking? 90 feet.
Yeah.
Well, that's because a 18 to 20-inch bass, even over
Yep.
90 feet, it's just such a small blip.
Yep. 100%. So get back to your new canoe. So I'm assuming that you're going to go with the unlimited, the
I
big
am.
dog.
Yeah.
Now I
I
was
love
gonna.
big boats.
Now, did you get a trailer ordered with Nick?
No, not yet.
Okay.
We've got the design figured out. Um, I had some other stuff come up. I'm going to help some people with some financial things first, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that's going to kind of take priority over that trailer because I have a trailer.
Oh
But
yeah.
I definitely want one of Nick's trailers because we've got pretty sick design figured out, and it'll be a little extra. I've got to.
I knew something was up when I get a text when somebody's driving back through Texas. So I was like,
Yeah,
the boys got together.
yeah. Yeah, I went to see my best friend in New Mexico just 2 weeks after we come back from Caddo, and talked with Nick and told him I was coming out that way. I was going to stop on the way back, so definitely got by his shop, checked out what he was doing over there, and the quality of his work is it's impeccable. If you guys are in the market for a trailer, go look up Nick over at Fish Texas Trailers.
Yep.
Uh, I'm excited to get mine. I am. Yeah,
I am
it's going
too.
to be.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm gonna have to retool it a little bit to hold that XTR because I'm gonna run my transducer in up in through one of the scuppers instead of hanging off of the back because I refuse to run it off of the back. But so I won't be able to run my rails in the two little. I don't even know what you call that section in the kayak where it's.
What's your thoughts on that thing so far?
Well, I haven't been in it yet, and I'm just starting to rig it. So I'm still waiting for stuff to come in. I'm actually going to start doing some rigging videos. I'm going to start with putting the. I did a video on
I've
how to
seen the video
register
where
it.
you picked it up.
Yep. I picked it up and then I just shot a video on how to register it for a motor. So there's a lot of people out there that don't know how to do that. So I figured, you know what? This is a good time to do this because I'm actually going through the process. And so now that I've got that one shot, I got to edit it and post it. But I'm going to start probably tomorrow working on getting the bow mount XI3 wiring the lights. I got a rudder kit I have to install. Of course, I ordered that after party
What
or
kind of
after.
lights are you going with on that?
I'm going to go ahead and do the Yak Power because I've got the Yak Power panel that I pulled out of the PWR since I won't need that for the rivers, because I've got a little Angel Guardian light that I just stick on the front strap. No more than I fish tournaments anyway. I don't use lights all that much, but I'm going to go ahead and do this one upright. And then I'll get another 360 light to, hang off the back because
You gotta get that whip, bud.
huh?
You gotta get that whip, that boat whip.
Oh, that's right. You did have that. That's what you were running your flag off of too, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking about doing that, but my brother also gave me a yak power kind of pole that's got a light on it, but it's also got a thing where I can put my camera back there too if I wanted. So I'm gonna have to, for the backlight, I'm really gonna have to figure it out. But yeah, that whip was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's how they seen me at Gunnersville, clear across the
Yeah.
lake when they launched at that other ramp.
Yeah, I think that's one of the other ideas I'm gonna steal from you too, is put a big white light off the front,
Yeah,
because at nighttime when you're coming
on
back
that
to the
light
ramp.
bar. Yeah, I love that. I
Yeah,
do love
that makes
that.
sense. I got to do a light bar. That was kind of cool. And since I'm fishing out of the boat, may as well put a boat light on it, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna have fun rigging that thing out. But
I'm going to
I
see how
figured
many
it's gonna
volts this
take
new
me.
canoe can take, bud.
What's that?
I'm going to see how many volts this new canoe can take.
Yeah, oh, there you go. Yeah, because
I'll wire them to the hill.
I've got a 65. I've got a 65 amp to power the electronics, the lights, the GoPros, DJIs, and then I've still got my 135 amp hour for the XI3. So, you know, I'll put the 65 up front, and I'll run the wiring to the back for the XI3. But that's going to be, I haven't decided what I'm going to name it yet. It's going to be something like Scope and Boat, or you know,
Yeah, I
it's
haven't
going to have
figured out a
scope in
name
the
for
name
this one
somewhere
yet
just to
either.
piss people off.
I am excited though. Definitely a different platform. I'm so excited to really help grow uh with New Canoe.
Yep.
Uh and again, I have a lot of friends that fish out of New Canoe that's going to give me a lot of crap because I come over
Oh
to
yeah.
the dark side finally.
I was going to ask. I was going to text you the other day, ask you if you were, you were going to get the purple and join Liz's Purple Army.
No, no, I was going to get a pink one, just to
Okay.
be nice and flashy.
Oh yeah.
Uh, but no, it's good. I'm excited. It's gonna be a good year, JT. I'll see you out in Texas, obviously, and
Yep.
hopefully in April I see you,
Hmm.
and we're chasing some big fish in April. Um,
Can't wait till we can talk about that one.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna be good. And I feel bad for Steve. I watch the Bassmaster memes that's coming out anymore about the schedule. They're getting better all the time, and I sit back and laugh. And I know Steve's got a great sense of humor, and he's laughing too. But he's
Yeah, I think somebody posted one, and then I posted one with like Alf sitting in the window going. "Thrum, thrum, thrum, thrum."
yeah, yeah, yeah. They're
But I
getting
know
good.
he's got to get everybody signed on too. But I'm telling, if there's any Bassmaster anglers in here watching, the last one when he announces it, you're gonna be so happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
So,
good. It's good.
dude, I think that was us. Just and then it came to be. We were looking for a reason, and then it came. It's going to come to fruition.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
so stoked about that. We spoke it into existence.
Yeah. I think we might have. We might have. Because it is weird. We had that conversation, and then yeah, yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
great. I'm
Oh
excited.
yeah.
It's gonna be good.
He said we don't have to worry about being flashy. Old Town still has the fire tiger design. I forgot all. Jeremy needs that one for the big Berkeley fanboy. But
Well,
no, I'm
I
never
am.
going to get him out of that. I'm never going to get him out of that PWR.
I'm excited to see what Chad does with the knucklehead. I am
Yep.
going to do my best to definitely get back down there,
Okay.
Team Gramps again for 2025. And EJ, Fluke Master, if you're watching, I hope you guys enjoyed having those because Team Gramps is taking them next year.
Okay, we gotta come get it. Yeah, I think we'll have to. I think we'll have to put the Gramps aside and just take over the whole Freedom Squad
Yeah, yeah,
and do
something
that
might
too.
have to happen there.
Yep. So that'd be fun. But well, I see you got the lady in the truck, and we've been at it for about an hour, and I was so glad to be able to get on and have you come on and talk about it. And if you guys aren't
Glad to
following,
be on here.
yep. Now, are you you're not doing YouTube yet, are you?
I am not. Still
All
the
right.
Instagram, Yakfish365 or Michael Ridenour on Instagram, or Facebook and TikTok. And then I will I will be doing some. I'm definitely going to focus on Instagram and TikTok Reels this year, and
Okay.
I really want to get some YouTube. Now I don't know whoever's watching. It'll be trial and error. Y'all can learn with me because I've already expressed my concerns for my YouTube channel with JT. But I have a lot of film data. I've just got to really sit down and commit myself to figuring this editing out.
Yep.
But between running a couple businesses and worried about where my next fish is coming from, long story short, I'm just too lazy to do it. I think
Yep. So when do you plan? Are you going to take a month or so off of the water? Or are you going to be on the water January as soon as you can?
a month off the water. Does anybody actually do that and consider
Probably not.
themselves a
I'm gonna be
viable
over as
fisherman?
soon as I get this rigged. I'm gonna be over on a power plant lake.
No, I won't be on a kayak and for a little bit. I've already been chasing some steelhead going up to Lake Erie,
Okay,
chasing some steelhead on the fly, and it's musky season on the fly around here now.
there you go.
So that carries me over, and a little bit of trout, but mostly steelhead and muskie through the cold months, and uh, I'm anxious to kick back off here February-ish
Yep, there you
for
go.
for tournament season. So
Sweetness. All right, brother. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us.
thanks for having me, brother. Always good talking with you. We're gonna get you at 22-inch Smalley this year.
You know I'm down for it.
Might put some miles on, but we're gonna get it done somewhere.
Yes, sir. All right. Thanks for hopping in tonight. Thank your wife, your lovely wife who's sitting there next to you, for giving you a couple, give us some hour of your time tonight. Glad you guys got your shopping done, but I'll let you get off of here. And
Yeah,
again, thanks
happy
again for
holidays
hopping
and
in.
Merry Christmas, JT, to you and your family and the Freedom Squad family out there. Wishing all of you a very safe and happy holidays and a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys on the water next year.
All right, there we have it, everybody. Michael Ridenour, as always, get outside when you can and make some memories, one cast at a time.